before we get started, let's introduce everyone on this meeting. I'm Sandy Brock. When I call your name, please confirm that you can hear me by verifying that you are present. We'll start with the commissioners. Travis.
Present.
Thank you. Jonathan.
Present.
Thank you. Patrick.
Present.
And our staff, Leah.
I'm present, and I don't know if there's a setting you need to change on your mic, Sandy, but you kind of sound like you're in a tunnel and then everyone else is really loud.
Okay, this actually happened to me on another Zoom meeting, which is really weird because I've been on team meetings all day today and I didn't have any issues. Last time I sounded like a robot. So I'm going to kind of disconnect and see if anything happens here.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me now?
I think it's the same.
It's the same? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We can hear you. It's just you kind of sound in the distance.
It sounds like your
Okay.
microphone, Sandy, on your headset isn't picking up your voice. It's probably your computer or something else that's picking up your voice. So you might need to switch the mic. That's all. When you work from home, you have to be your own IT. That's fine.
Is this any better?
Sounds the same.
Is this the same? Okay.
We can
It
hear
has
you, but
something to. Yeah. It happened this past week, or the end of last week when I was on a Zoom meeting. On Teams, it's not, and I'm just on my desktop at home, so I'm not going through any VDI or anything. So.
Are you able to, the arrow next to your microphone icon, are you able to like pick what microphone is picking you up? That's the last thing I can think of. Otherwise, we can hear you okay. It's just a little off.
yeah, maybe one of the other microphones on one of your other devices. I've had that happen, Sandy. It's a constant game of what setting Zoom wants to put on my desktop here.
And do I sound any different now?
That you got it.
Much
That's
better.
it.
It was my not to go into how many different microphones I have on the system. It was to Jonathan's point, it was the wrong microphone, but
Okay.
it does do it on. It is what it is. So okay, I'm glad that you guys pointed that out and it was fixed. I'll send the bill to Town of Grafton. Okay. All right, so I think I was on Patrick. I don't remember, Patrick, if I heard you or not. I did not.
I am present.
Thanks. For staff is Leah.
Yep,
And
I'm here.
actually you responded, and
Yep.
Jan's also on the call. We're going to go through the speakers. If you could just please say that you can hear us, then we also know that we can hear you. For 168 Upton Street, Susan Honeywell.
Hi, I can hear you.
Thank you. Susan Hansberry, is she also on?
Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, so Susan, I think you're muted. We're just trying to check that you can hear us. But since
Is that it?
you got it, thank you very much.
Actually,
For one,
Susan Boudiette. It's Susan Hansberry was not able to attend.
okay, thank you very much. For 157 Pleasant Street, Jay Verney.
Here.
Thank you. And if I happen to mispronounce anyone's name, just tell me, because it's not one of my, not an area I excel at in pronouncing names. So 58 Follette Street, Jess Barty.
Good evening, I'm here.
Thank you. And then Jesse Marino.
I don't believe it looks like Jesse Moreno or Chris Lucas have joined, but I
Joined,
do
okay.
expect them to be here in time for our hearing.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank
then
you.
for 118.5 Old Westboro Road, that is a new address for me. Scott Jordan.
Here.
Thank you. And Rob DeVerde.
I think they're in attendees.
Okay, that's great. But Jay is here for that. Okay. This open meeting of the Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely via Zoom pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order as extended on June 15th, 2021, February 12th, 2022, and July 16th, 2022. Access information for the public has been provided on the town website. This meeting is being recorded. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. If you are using a dial-in by telephone feature, you can mute yourself by pressing *6. As chair, I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. Please note that you will not have screen sharing privileges, but staff can display any visuals per your cue. After speakers conclude their remarks, I will invite each commission to provide any comments, questions, or motions. After commissioners have spoken, I will allow public comments to be spoken by participants. Participants must use the raise hand feature by clicking on the hand icon at the bottom right of the Zoom menu bar to indicate they would like to speak. If you are using a dial-in by telephone feature, please press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute when you are called on. Participants who raise their hand will be recognized one at a time and will be promoted to speak. Public comments will be followed by commission and applicant responses. Finally, each vote taken will be by roll call vote. As a reminder, the commission is concerned with state and town wetland and stormwater regulations. Concerns outside of this purview need to be addressed by appropriate boards. For example, road conditions must be addressed with the select board. Traffic concerns must be addressed with the planning board. Having said that and seeing that it's 7:08, is there any action items we should take up front here, Leah?
Yeah, if you want to just go down the list, I think would be a fine order to do.
Okay, let's see what we can get done before our 7:15. We've got 2 meeting minutes from February 21st and from March 7th. So to the commissioners,
I have to interject. We just have February 21 for tonight, 3/7. will be
Okay.
Next time.
oh, I think on the agenda you have it scratched out. Okay. All right, I'm reading the lead. Okay, so we have February 21st, 2023 meeting minutes. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions on those minutes or suggestions? Not hearing anything. Do I have a motion to approve those meetings?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 21st.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Patrick, since you are looking at me, you get to go first.
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
and then Jonathan.
Yes.
I am also a yes, the motion carries. Up next is a minor change request for Winslow Point, Woodland Hill at 100 Westboro Road.
Yep.
You want to fill us in?
Sure. So you guys probably remember the previous names for these. So Woodland Hill used to be Village at Institute Road, and Winslow Point used to be Afonso Village. So we're talking about the Village at Institute Road is the subdivision going in, and Winslow Point is, or AKA Afonso Village, is the multi-use where we had townhouses and apartment buildings. So they're seeking a minor change across both projects for the connection between the two. So they were previously going to have vehicular access between the two projects. They've changed that connection to just be pedestrian. So it's actually a decrease in impervious surface. We do have a few of their team on the call if they'd like to add anything, but my recommendation would be to approve minor changes to each of the projects.
Okay. If anyone from the applicant side would like to say anything, please just unmute and let us know.
Well, thanks. Leah did a great job explaining. Just to give a little bit of detail, the reason that connection was changed was due to non-compliance with some of the lots on the cul-de-sac and the single family. So the building inspector, we had added that at the request of the planning board, and then the building inspector then informed us that we'd be creating non-compliant lots on the single family side. So we had to adjust it. So that what's showing now is the original proposal where we had that full vehicular connection, and then now we are adjusting it, removing the kind of the driveway there, and it will just be the sidewalk connecting the two.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll go around the commissioners. Does anyone have any questions on this minor change? So Travis, anything?
Nope, nothing for me.
Patrick
No, no questions.
and Jonathan.
No questions.
Okay. I also really don't have any questions. I do have to say I do go by the site almost on a daily basis. So seeing the progress and not seeing any substantial amount of sediment on Institute Road is always a good thing. So I haven't been onto the site, but I definitely go by it all the time. Having said that, we got no comments or questions. This is for a minor request. It's a reduction. I think it's fairly straightforward. Do I have a motion to approve this minor request here for a change?
Motion to move to approve the minor change request.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote. Travis?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
I am also a yes. The minor change is approved. I'll set
Great.
there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your
Oh,
time.
you're welcome. All right, we have probably 1 minute left, Leah, so
So I can just make a quick announcement on the next action item, which is a request for certificate of compliance for 114 Merriam Road. We're still waiting on a lot of stuff for that one, so we're gonna need to revisit that on April 4.
okay. And we don't need to make any kind of motion on that. We'll just get carried over, correct?
Correct.
All right. All right. Just waiting for my clock to hit 7:15. All right. Seeing that it is 7:15, pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, the Grafton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a request for determination of applicability for the construction of a dry well system at 168 Upton Street. Who's here to talk to that?
Hi, I'm Susan Honeywell from Onsite Engineering. We filed the application on behalf of the Laurel Hill Condominium Trust.
Can you hold on just one moment? So what I want to do is that I'm actually on a team right now with Onsite. We have no contractual relationship, so it's not a conflict of interest. I just want to disclose that I happen to be working on a project currently with Onsite. And if anyone has any issues or anyone has any complaints about that, happy to talk more about it. Other than that, I just want to have that disclosed for the minutes. Based on my understanding of the conflict of interest, there is no conflict of interest because we have no contractual relationship. So, all right, thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. So we filed this determination of applicability for a construction of a dry well or underground injection control system to accept backwash water from the public water system that serves the Laurel Hill condominium units. This project was required by the Mass DEP. The site plan in front of you, sorry for the little bit, it was using an old site plan that we overlaid on top, but the green rectangular at the top of the plan shows where the proposed UIC is going to be located. Essentially, it's almost like a traditional septic system back there. So the only thing that's actually within the 100-foot buffer of the bordering vegetated wetlands is the piping between the treatment building, which is down at the edge of the parking area, and that dry well system.
Okey doke. I'll go around and to the commissioners to see if anyone has any specific questions. I'll start with Travis.
No, I don't think so.
Go to Jonathan.
No, I don't have any specific questions. Looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Patrick.
Same, no questions at this time.
Sure. And I just have a quick clarification because I think I understand what's going on here. So you have an existing well for basically a public drinking supply, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And this is just a requirement, basically to put, you said the backwash?
Yeah, so they have a softener system, not that
Okay.
different than what lots of people have in their homes, that backwashes periodically. And that backwash water currently discharges right next to the treatment building into a catch basin, which ultimately discharges right near the wetlands and right near the wellhead. So the DEP has just directed us to locate that at least 100 feet from the wellhead.
All right. Thank you for the clarification. Having said that, I mean, that's the only question I had is just to make sure I understood exactly what was going on. That's fine. I'll also open it up to the public if anyone has any comments or questions. So if you are on the line and you want to ask a question on this particular project, please raise your hand and either Jan or Leah will let us know. Okay, not hearing anything. All right, Leah, as far as your report and as far as special conditions, you had a couple of them. You want to go through your report?
Sure. So I also have a finding that this is classified as a limited project per 310 CMR 10.533D. And then my proposed special conditions would be erosion control shall be installed as shown on the plans. Loaming and seeding shall occur within 7 days of final grading. Any stockpiling shall occur outside the buffer zone and be surrounded by erosion control. And if dewatering proves to be necessary, we'll just want to see a plan as to how you would handle that. Beyond those things, I recommend issuing a negative determination.
All right, sounds good. Does the applicant have any questions on those special conditions?
No, they all sound reasonable to us.
All right, thank you very much. Having said that, and I'm guessing no one has raised a hand or anything from, okay. Seeing that, would someone like to make a motion to approve, or excuse me, to issue a negative determination for this project and close the hearing?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to close the hearing and issue a negative determination as a limited project per 310 CMR 10.533D with the conditions as described.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Patrick, you're staring at me again, so you get to go first.
Because I only have one monitor right now. I vote yes.
All right, thank you. Travis
Yes.
and Jonathan.
Yes.
And I am also a yes, the motion carries. And negative determination has been issued. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
All right. Okay, so Leah, any particular order of things continued, or should I just go right down the list?
Yeah, probably just go right down the list.
All right, sounds very good. Okay. All right, 157 Pleasant Street. pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a notice of intent and application for a Grafton Wetlands Bylaw permit for the construction of a house addition and garage at 157 Pleasant Street. And who's here speaking to that?
Jay Bernie.
All right, go ahead. And if you want anything shown, just
Yeah,
ask.
we should go ahead and put up the site plan, please. Yeah, so this is an addition for my son and my daughter-in-law for the current house, 157 Pleasant Street. As you can see, parcel A, it's 7.17 acres. There's an existing 3-bedroom house, which is shown in the outline. And we're proposing to add a 2-car garage, as well as a sunroom addition and a covered porch. As you can see, we're very close to the wetland, but we're outside the existing boundaries. We have a do not disturb boundary of 25 feet from the wetland line, and we're about 10 feet from that. We are currently about 35 feet from the wetland with the garage addition. The site is flat, and it's a house that was originally built in 1957, so the area is improved around the house. And our proposal is to basically build a garage and the addition on concrete slabs with frost walls. You can see that we have erosion control staked around the periphery. We are outside the 100-year flood zone, and there's a minor overlap on the outer riparian zone, which is the Blackstone Canal, not quite shown on the diagram there, but it's at the bottom of the map. The overlap is between 4 feet on the left, 10 feet on the right. It's approximately 200 square feet. This property, in fact, has about 600 feet of Blackstone Canal frontage. It's a fairly small encroachment. You'll see that the town water line is to the right of the existing house. When we excavate to do the garage and the addition, we're going to move that line further to the right, so it'll be serviceable. Excess materials will be stockpiled in front of the house. You can see it on the diagram where it is. And just to describe the house briefly, we're expanding from 6 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1-car garage to 10 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 3-car garage. And I think that's all the high points that I wanted to cover. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you. So we'll go around with the commissioners first. Travis, any questions?
Yeah, I think there's existing signage for the no disturb buffer. Are those signs at the do they line up with the current or delineated no disturb buffer?
The signs at this point are closer to the wetland boundary markers because of the existing improved area in there. We've been through before the commission back in 2015 for the septic system, and then again 2018 for the garage. And at that point, we got permission from the commission to go ahead and do this work. But there are signs out there, but they're more along the line of the tree line. And if I recall from the 2018 meeting, the grass that was already pre-existing was allowed to stay there in that do not disturb zone. In that it's a very flat area around the house, and then you go down a pretty significant embankment, maybe 5-6 feet down, to get to the actual water delineation.
Okay, that was my next question, was if that area right next to the garage, if that's turf or existing lawn.
Existing lawn.
Okay.
All right, anything else, Travis?
No, not right now.
Okay. Jonathan?
I don't have any questions beyond asking. So Leah, do we not have a DEP number on this yet, or do we have that already in comments?
Do not have a DEP number yet.
Okay. No other questions.
All right, thanks. And Patrick, anything?
I don't have anything else right now.
All right, thanks. Yeah, yeah, Leah, I was just gonna similar to Travis. I mean, my guess is that, and as Jay Verney said, is that that the location of the signs were based on when they came in, and we put it along the tree line, so that all
Correct.
lines up. Okay. Um, and then just a couple of comments based on the interdepartment comments is the Board of Health just reminded us that no additional um, bedrooms can be added, those type of things. From our perspective, that's not really our purview, but we're just passing along that they gave us that one comment. And then for request the waiver of temporary equipment access within the no disturb, and that's just because you're talking about for the new garage is that you're in the 25-foot a little bit because it's on the lawn. That's what that's about.
Yeah, we just need to be able to get construction equipment around the periphery of the site, and that'll all be restored at the completion of the project.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Just want to be clear on that because we have to do a separate vote for that. Anything else, Leah, that I'm missing?
I didn't have it in my report, but could you guys just provide, like you said, you're gonna be moving the water line. Can we just get an idea of where that's gonna go on a plan?
Yeah, so you just want that documented, Leah?
Yeah,
In an
please.
update?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll go to the right of the garage there. We can do that.
Okay.
Okay, that seems to be it. So
Yeah, just a point on that, we did put a note on the existing plan that says we would move it, but we didn't propose exactly where we'd move it. We are working with the water company. We've been in communication, and we would do that real time on site with their supervision when and where we find it.
I mean, I think bottom line is as long as you don't go into the no disturb zone, it's going to be buried. We just don't want any additional disturbance at that point.
I see.
Understood. And I think, Leah, maybe a quick condition on that, just so that, yes, it'd be great to get where the location's going, but if it gets adjusted in the field, you can free to do that. But if we have just a simple condition that says you can't go within the no disturb zone for that line, or extend it further than the no disturb signs, then I think that's reasonable. So just so that it's a process. So as I think Jonathan asked, we don't have the DEP number yet, which means we actually can't close this hearing. So we'll reach out to you and say, please ask for an extension. We can't close it because we don't have a DEP number. Everything else we should be able to talk about and go through conditions and basically have everything all set so that once you get the DEP number, then we can close it at the very next hearing. That's, Leah, am I correct? That's the only thing outstanding as far as information we need?
Correct.
Okay. And have we gotten any kind of comments or questions from the public?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to talk, or could we just go through a list of what's going to be needed, and then if we can get a request for a continuance, we'll vote on that. And should we vote on the waiver request?
Sure. Yeah, you could do
Okay.
that.
All right. So in kind of a bookkeeping, let's if I could have a motion to basically grant a waiver for the temporary equipment within the no disturb zone.
I'll make a motion to grant a waiver for temporary equipment access within the no disturb zone.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
So you got a motion and second. Roll call vote. Patrick.
Yes.
Travis.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yes.
I am also a yes. That motion for the waiver passes. And then just for your information, So there'll be special conditions to say that the no disturbance at the existing tree line shall be maintained. We've already noted that there's already signage there from the previous permits in front of us. And then you've already indicated this, but will be a special condition, any disturbed areas within the 25-foot no disturb within the existing lawn shall be restored to vegetated post-construction. And then we also, the relocation of the water line cannot go into the tree line or the delineated no disturb signs or beyond the no disturb signs. That's about it that we have. And then the only question for you, are you okay if we continue this? The reason why I'm asking it that way is it's the applicant who has to require the continuance.
We are fine with that.
All right, so the last kind of action on this one is if we could make a motion. And again, nothing from the public yet, right? No one's,
No, I'm not sure if you like
I
literally
request?
opened it to the public,
Okay.
but no
so
one's
yeah,
raised a
I'll do it
hand.
real quick now. And if anyone's online here has any questions or comment on this project, please raise your hand and we'll be happy to call on you and answer any questions or let you give a comment. I've not seen anything. Just understand this will be continued to our next meeting, which is
April 4.
April. Oh my God, April 4th. Okay. All right, not seeing anything popping up from the public. Do I have a motion to continue this hearing to April 4th?
Motion
Sure, I'll
to-
make, go ahead, Patrick. Go for it.
motion- All right. Motion to continue to April 4th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, now Travis, you're staring at me, so you get to go.
Ah.
We get to do a roll call vote, and I'll start with you on the vote, Travis.
Yes.
Patrick
Yes.
and Jonathan,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. The hearing is continued to April 4th.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Next up. Pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Grafton Stormwater Management Bylaw, Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a notice of intent, application for Grafton Stormwater Bylaw permit, application for Grafton Wetlands Bylaw permit for the construction of a cell tower and driveway at 58 Follette Street. Who's here to talk about that?
Good evening, Commissioners. Jess Barty, I'll start off. So good evening. Thank you for having us back this evening. I'm Jess Barty from Robinson and Cole on behalf of the applicant Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. With me tonight is our wetlands consultant, Chris Lucas from Lucas Environmental, and our civil engineer, Jesse Moreno from ProTerra Design Group, who are both available if the commission has any questions. So we're here before you tonight seeking approval under the State Wetlands Protection Act and its implementing regulations, the Town of Grafton Local Wetlands Protection Bylaw and its regulations, and the Town of Grafton Local Stormwater Management Bylaw and its implementing regulations for the construction of gravel driveway that will provide access from Follette Street to a proposed wireless communications facility that is proposed in the upland portion of the property located at 58 Follette Street. Since we last substantively discussed the project back in December of 2022, we have submitted revised site plans that are dated January 17th of 2023 that address the peer review comments. So at this time, we believe that all peer review comments, both wetlands and stormwater, have been addressed, and we would ask that the commission close the public hearing tonight and vote to approve the project and issue to Verizon an order of conditions under the State Wetlands Protection Act, a wetlands bylaw permit under the Town of Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and a stormwater bylaw permit under the Town of Grafton Stormwater Management Bylaw. And lastly, I'd just like to note that we're also seeking a waiver from section Roman numeral 5, C5 lowercase a of the local wetlands regulations. which prohibits alterations within the 25-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland. As we noted in our initial submission, the grant of the waiver is warranted, we believe, here, because in order to construct a functioning replication area, the replication area must connect to the existing buffer, to the existing bordering vegetated wetland, which necessitates the alteration of the 20-foot buffer zone here. And with that, we ask that the commission vote to approve our requested waiver from section Roman numeral 5C5A of the local wetlands regs. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll start with our list of to-dos and house cleaning to
Sure.
kind of get through this. So just as a note up front is that Travis, who's one of our commissioners, actually was not on the commission when we started review of this. So he'll be abstaining, or it's his choice to abstain, but that's the direction we're going in. As far as you've already indicated, this has gone through peer review and all comments have been satisfied. Yes, we will have a vote to request the waiver for work in the no disturb zone. We do have one finding that, you know, this project is eligible for limited project status under 310 CMR 10.533E. It's not sought because it fully meets the standards. We do have a list of special conditions that we'd like to kind of go through with you so that if you have any questions on them, I don't think any of these will be a surprise. So prior to commencing any work, the applicant shall file a notice of intent under general law C61A, notifying all required parties of proposed change in use. Complete 61A process and pay any rollback taxes that are due applicable. Convey CR as defined in the general laws on the remainder of the parcel, excluding cell tower area and access drive to the town, Grafton Land Trust, or other entity to the town, terms of which have been approved in advance by council for all parties. And investigate for vernal pools during spring amphibian breeding season at wetland flags A63 through A66. Submit written report to the commission certifying any vernal pools found on site with Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program. Submit funds for peer review inspections of the stormwater management system installation and wetland replication. Secure a bond for erosion controls, site stabilization, wetland replication, and stormwater management. Applicant shall submit bond estimate for commission approval to issue the bond. Some other special conditions: an O&M plan provided in the stormwater report shall be implemented. Wetland replication, more plantings may be required to ensure 75% wetland species will be 75% wetland species within 2 growing seasons. Preparation and planting of application area shall be completed in conjunction with or as soon as practical and not to exceed 30 days following wetland alteration. Once wetland alteration begins, no other work shall begin until the replication area is established. Erosion control must be installed between the existing wetlands and the restoration area prior to commencing replication. Disturbance is not permitted within the adjacent wetlands. Replication shall be supervised by a qualified wetland scientist hired by the commission at the applicant's expense. Replication area shall be inspected by said scientist at the end of each growing season for a minimum of 2 growing seasons with written reports to the commission. Or once completed, the RA shall be protected by a 25-foot no disturb zone. During monitoring period, invasives shall be eradicated from replication area and no disturb. Any work occurring within the wetland resource area shall occur during dry conditions. And then we will go back and do the waiver. At this point, I just want to go around the commission to see if they have any questions on these special conditions or have any other special conditions that they may want to see be added to this. So I'll start with Travis.
Nope, since I'm abstaining.
All right, thank you. And then Jonathan?
No, I don't have any specific questions.
Okay,
Nothing.
Patrick? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm
All
good,
set?
Sandy.
Okay. Jonathan, anything else?
Where you going for me next, Andy?
Yes. Any other any comments on these conditions, or do you think we need to add anything else?
Nope, no, I have no comments.
Okay, thank you. To the applicant, do you have any questions on the special conditions that we just went through?
Would you just mind repeating the special condition about the bond? I didn't get it all down.
Sure. And obviously, it'll be part of this, but it's sometimes much easier just to kind of review during this period. So secure bond for erosion control, site stabilization, and wetland replication and stormwater management. The applicant shall submit a bond estimate for the commission to approve prior to issuance of the bond. So kind of stand it, basically you're giving us an estimate of what that work is for, and again, this is about stabilization. And so that's what the bond amount would be once we approve that, and that's kind of where that ends.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
No. Jesse or Chris, do you have any questions?
I don't. I think I don't. No.
Okay.
Chris?
I think I'm all set. It was fast. It was long.
I know.
So with I guess I do have one question on the wetland mitigation, and I don't know if I caught this. That's not going to be required to be completed first before the rest of the roadways put in, correct?
Leah, what was your intent there? I mean, I would say once you start it.
Okay.
So hold on, I'm just trying to find it here.
I just didn't catch the entire condition as you read it, so I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
Yeah, well, that's easy. Let me just read it again so that you can hear it.
Thank you.
Preparation and planting of replication area shall be completed in conjunction with or as soon as practical.
Okay.
And not to exceed 30 days following wetland alteration.
Okay. Thank you. I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. At this point, since this is still a public hearing, I'll open up to the public. If you have any questions or comments on this project, we are winding down and we are going through the conditions. But before we kind of wrap it totally up, we need to have a motion for a waiver for work within the within the no disturb zone. So can I have a motion for a waiver for the work within the 25-foot no disturb zone?
A motion to grant the waiver to work within the 25-foot no disturb zone.
All right. And we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Travis?
I'll continue to abstain.
Thank you. And I am also a yes, the motion carries. All right. All right, Leah, we're all set for a motion to approve.
Yeah, I believe so. We don't have any attendees raising their hand.
Okay, thank you for that. So do I have a motion to issue an order of conditions with the conditions as previously presented?
Motion. Oh, nice. Second.
Okay, so just to make it clear, Jonathan, you made the motion to issue the order of conditions, and Patrick second. Having said that, we'll do a roll call vote, and I know I'm going to get the same answer from Travis, but that's fine.
Abstain.
Thank you. Jonathan
Yes.
and Patrick?
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries and the order of condition is issued. All right, thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Oh, can I ask one question? Sorry. Is
Sure.
there a separate motion though for the local wetlands permit and the stormwater permit? Or is that all one?
So it's all one.
Okay, so the order of conditions that that motion was for all three.
For all, yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.
have a good one. All right, so. All right, next up. Okay. All right. Pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Grafton Stormwater Management Bylaw, and the Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a notice of intent, applications for Grafton Stormwater Bylaw permit, and applications for Grafton Wetlands Bylaw permit for the construction of a single-family homes at 118.5 Old Westboro Road, lots A and B. And who is here to speak to that?
Good evening, Scott Jordan from Ecotech. Shall I proceed, Sandy?
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jan, could you put up, so we've opened lots A and B, correct? I think that's how we
Correct.
were going to do it. Yeah, that
Correct.
makes sense.
Do you want lot
Maybe-
A first?
Yeah. Start with A, I guess. Makes sense. So these are two abutting lots. This is located, the site's located on the east side of Old Westboro Road, out just south of Morgan Drive, Holden Farm area. Lot A, well, we delineated, start with the BVWs, BVW in the eastern portion of the site that we delineated a few months ago. The proposed work is a driveway, a house, a well, and an infiltration basin in the buffer zone. There's no impacts to resource areas proposed, and there's no work within the 25-foot buffer zone. We will utilize a straw wattle silt fence erosion control barrier. We will be showing stockpile locations as requested by Jan. We wanted to just discuss the project with the commission, get their feedback, because we do anticipate coming back, because we just received some comments from Jeff Walsh at Graves just today. So Quinn Engineering will address those shortly, and we'll get some revised plans over, and Jan will show the stockpile location. And I think you want a limit of disturbance shown along that erosion control barrier also. So that is lot A. If you had any questions on that. Of course, septic's outside of the 100-foot per local requirements. Again, just a portion of the driveway, house, well, and of course, infiltration basin needs to be close to the wetland.
Okay, Leah, anything from your report on lot A?
Let's see. I will wait to provide comments till we cover B as well, because they're they go together.
Okay, so why don't we keep going, and then we'll go around to the commissioners once we get through both of them.
Okay. And Jan, could you put up lot B, please? Thank you. Maybe next sheet.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you very much. Similarly, this is the same wetland system you see to the east, page right. And what's proposed on this lot is within the buffer zone. is the house, most of the driveway, a well, stormwater management basin to the page bottom, southern portion of the site, and removal of an existing shed. You can see it behind the proposed house. It's sort of a garage shed, a decrepit structure, and a well just to the north of that shed. No work within the 25, and of course, no work proposed, no alteration to resource areas proposed.
Could Scott, could you just indicate what those long rectangular shapes are that are just planned west of the proposed Title V system?
It's probably a reserve system. Yeah, reserve. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Reserve.
I was just
in,
wondering if it was
yeah.
something. Okay, that's fine.
In case there's an issue in the future, yeah.
Yep. Okay. It's just it's a different shape, which isn't usually it's not quite that way. That's fine. Leah, you want to go through your comments?
Sure. So because they are filing under our stormwater bylaw as well, I just wanted to call to the commission's attention, Lot A does have an infiltration basin, but otherwise there isn't too much by means of LID. So I wanted you guys to give an opinion on that. Do you want me to go one at a time and then you can discuss, or would you like me to continue?
Why don't you continue?
Sure. So the building inspector provided some comments, and he has some concerns about the amount of contiguous upland. So I would just suggest having a conversation with him between now and the next meeting, since you have the peer review comments to work on anyway. I know Lot B, you're requesting a waiver for contiguous upland with us, but I believe there's also a contiguous upland or a way that upland, or a way that wetland factors into lot area in the zoning bylaws. So he wanted to have that dialogue with you as well.
Correct. I believe that it's not a contiguous requirement under zoning, but we will double check that. I know that Carl Holtgren had looked into that.
Okay.
Just to, I don't mean to cut you off, Leah. I failed to explain that. We are seeking a waiver. I believe it's section 4C or something from the bylaw for the contiguous upland requirement. So this is 40,000 square foot zoning area, and the lot's 44,000 square feet in total, something like that. The continue, because we have that little portion of wetland there bisecting the eastern portion, the contiguous portion of the lot is 26,700 or something like that. And we would need 30,000 to meet the 75% threshold. So we're a couple thousand under that.
When were these lots created?
These lots have either recently been created or are to be created. And they were looked at very carefully on how to how to cut these up. I believe Carl Holtgren even had a pre-filing meeting with several department heads. And I think I was told everyone agreed with this approach. Now, just to jump ahead, we will be talking about 8 Morgan Drive shortly. And that abuts to the east. So Diverty has purchased 118.5 and 8 Morgan Drive, they're abutting lots. There's a single family house proposed out on 8 Morgan Drive. So the project, the purpose is to build 3 houses. The only alternative to fitting 3 houses on the 2 parcels, 118.5 and 8 Morgan, would be to access over Lot B, which is what we're looking at, and to cross that wetland, and then to put a second house out back on 8 Morgan Drive. Of course, there would be all the lot lines would be different. It would still be called 118.5 Lot B. But alternative wise, the only alternative to the three house proposal would be to cross the wetland. And again, you probably get a better picture when we discuss 8 Morgan.
So when you look at these two lots together, what is the total area and what is the total continuous upland? I just, for me, like the only time that we've granted waivers around that is when it was, kind of a leftover lot created 30, 40, 50 years ago, not
Sure.
something that's going through an A&R process.
Sure.
So that's kind of would be my question.
Yeah, I understand that. The Lot A to the north was, the line was cut so that it has just over 30,000 square feet of contiguous upland, which is the requirement.
Yep.
So that didn't leave very much wiggle room down here on Lot B, and we came up a couple thousand square feet short. There's ample room on 8 Morgan, but again, would require the wetland crossing to forego 2 houses out on 118.5 and put 2 back on 8 Morgan would require the wetland crossing.
So Jan, could you just bring up a GIS map of the area?
Sure. Can you see that?
Yep.
And Jan, if you zoomed out a little bit to page right would show 8 Morgan, might as well show that. There we go. And you have a wetland layer on this?
Yep.
Oh, this is town.
Yeah, again, I'm just trying to get the overall picture of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you're looking at Lot 3C, page left, that's 118.5. And you can see the stream. Of course, there is a swamp associated with it. It's not shown.
Correct. Yep. So there was an existing house and that's gone.
Yes, that has been removed recently.
Okay. And so so the 3C is lot A or lot A and B?
A and B.
Okay. So basically you have 1.8 acres.
Correct.
And it's a 40,000. So you're tight anyways. That's why there's only one lot there. And now you're trying to get 2 lots in an area that was previously 1. And now you want a waiver, a brand new waiver. You want us to give a waiver for created hardship.
Well, again, the alternative to meet the 3 house goal would be we would have to cross the wetland, put 2 houses back on 8 Morgan. And so we're just trying to avoid impacts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still just kind of wrapping my, because we've never done that before.
Again, I wasn't.
This is where this is being created. So this is, I mean, we've definitely have done waivers for the continuous upland.
Sure.
But Leah, to my memory, we haven't done anything where the lots are being created.
Not that I can recall, no.
Okay.
And
excuse me, just one second. I'm Rob DeVerde, and this is my wife, Grace. Our intentions with the lot are on 8 Morgan would be our own lot. We're trying to keep that parcel for ourselves to build our house on. And the reason why we split up the reason why we're trying to go this way is because my father-in-law is interested in purchasing one of the lots for himself that we
One of the A or B.
yeah,
lots.
either A or B, depending on
Yep.
which one. So we kind of want to make it like just kind of like an estate lot back there. And when I spoke to you guys previously with Carl or Leah, I was on with Bob and Carl, and I can't remember who else was there, but we ended up calling you in, and Carl presented the plan with the house basically to the west of where the house would be on 8 Morgan. And because Bob said, like, well, they might grant a waiver, like conservation might grant a waiver because, then you'll have to cross, instead of crossing the wetlands. And then we presented it to you. And I'm just trying to refresh your memory. And then you led us to believe that, like, oh, you rather grant the waiver than cross a wetland. And I thought that would be nicer because then I wouldn't share a driveway with my father-in-law, and that would be beneficial for everyone.
So when you say present it to us, did you come to us as
No,
an
I
informal?
think we talked. No, it was just informal. We talked to Patrick, me, Carl, Patrick, and Bob, and I forget who else was on the call.
I think it was at our development team meeting that we had.
Oh, that's what it was.
With department heads on Thursdays. I don't recall, and maybe we did, but I can't remember if we got into the contiguous or not sizes for the lots. I was just saying that it's preferable to not have to cross. I can't remember if we then got into, is there enough area or not?
So I know that right now we're talking about the 118.5 lots, right? Jan, can you bring up the 8 Morgan? And what I'm trying to do is, our responsibility and our only kind of focus is protecting the wetlands, but we also try to follow our own regulations. So for us to grant a waiver, there has to be some unique component of that. And so,
Sandy, can I just cut you off for 1 second?
Sure.
If we're gonna look at 8 Morgan, do you want to read in that ad first so we can just be talking about all of them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to talk about 8 Morgan
Okay,
at the moment. I
that's
want to
fine.
just generally look at where the actual wetlands lines are.
Okay, so you want to see the plan then?
Yes, please. Yeah, I don't want to specifically discuss it. Yeah. I'm really just interested in. All right. And what is, okay. Can you zoom in on that bottom right that shows all the lots? I'm just trying to get a sense of where all the wetlands are. That's all. Okay. All right. Kind of, yeah, we can go back to those other 2 lots for now. And so we can kind of talk about them and talk about the prospect of, not meeting our requirements, and we could go into other discussions about what those requirements, the ratio and things like that based on the square footage. But let me first go around to Concom to see the commissioners, just to see if they have anything else to kind of ask. So Travis, do you have anything specifically on these 2 lots you'd like to ask?
Yeah, Leah or Jan, I can't find the delineation report in the files. Was that uploaded or is it available? Or maybe it's buried in a file and I just haven't found it yet.
I think it's buried in the NOI.
Ah, okay.
It's probably an appendix or something to the NOI.
I'll keep looking.
Yes.
Okay.
No other questions though.
Okay. Jonathan, any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Okay. And then Patrick, any questions?
I don't think I have anything right this minute.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Scott, if you're going to say something.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted another little piece just for your information. I know we haven't even opened 8 Morgan yet, but this is more applies to 118.5. Carl Holtgren also looked into the possibility of a common drive from 8 Morgan, but that would not be allowed. You have to common drive has to access from the street that your frontage is on. So we would have frontage on Old Westboro if we were to put 2 houses on 8 Morgan. We'd have frontage on Old Westboro and frontage on 8 Morgan. So he had looked into that also. So again, a wetland crossing would be required if we were to put 2 on 8 Morgan. And it's as Rob stated, thank you, Rob, for jumping in. It's certainly not his preference to do that. Just the family, the way they were going to lay it out with the family owning the homes.
So Scott, let me ask a different question in a different way.
Sure.
So right now you guys are creating this lot. And so to me, you're creating a hardship on yourself. However, again, what our purview is and what we're concerned with is the protection of wetlands. Now, yes, we're talking these 2 lots, but you have this other lot at 8 Morgan. Are there any ways with looking at all 3 lots together to protect the wetlands more robustly than you're showing now that would basically give us a reason to consider a reduction of that upland area? What are the things, as far as design and, distance to things and something else, trying to find a reason for us to consider this, and then we can go around and talk about that.
Sure. Well, looking at, we have A up now, correct? Yeah. A with the substantial, with the stormwater requirements, does eat up a lot of room. Of course, the septic has to be more than 100 feet away. That'll be in the front yard. There's not a lot of room. Rob, do you see anything where we could squeeze? You on, Rob?
Yep.
I think just design-wise, meaning setbacks from the wells and the septics and stuff, we could certainly ask Quinn Engineering if there's anywhere they could squeeze a little bit, but you can see, I mean, the stormwater infiltration basin is up to the driveway. Then we have the septic. It's a fairly small backyard. I think the well has a setback requirement anyway, so we'd have to get back there for the well for the backyard. We can look at it. And then B, go ahead, Rob.
The question is, how could we protect the wetlands more?
Yes.
Yeah, if we could move away from the wetland is certainly one consideration I think she's asking.
That's part of it, but there's be a little bit more creative. You're talking about an infiltration basin, okay? Why not do a bioretention or something more enhanced? Why don't you look at other stormwater potentials there for improving water quality, providing more recharge? It's something, again, in and around protection of the wetlands. And so one of those consideration could be water quality to those wetlands, doing a little bit more LID type of approaches. Yes, you have an on-site septic, which is one thing that will, kind of constrain you to, putting certain stormwater features in that you can't do. But, like with the roof water, where is that going? Can you go out towards the back and do really simple recharge? I don't know, Leah, if you have any other ideas. And if you look at, so right now you have everything on lot A and lot B. What do you have for stormwater on lot B? So you have, a similar type of, so maybe an enhanced, vegetated area. And we're also, and also talking about that is that, not looking, the thing about bioretention, you can do all sorts of plantings and look in all sorts of ways. Again, just something to enhance that. If you zoom in, Jan, to where the discharge is, yeah, if you zoom into that, yeah, right where the discharge from the basin is, you see the riprap.
Mhm.
Okay. You know, there are so many things that you can do. That's the closest point to your discharge to the wetlands, right? Um, there's so many different kind of more LID friendly type of things than putting a bunch of riprap. I mean, I think this is a very old fashioned cookbook type of approach to stormwater. And, there's so many things that you could do to kind of enhance that and make it, give it, greater water quality components. First question is what is that a pipe or is that a swale going across there? I can't read that. So you get two 6-inch outlets.
Mhm.
Okay. Why? Why can't that be a surface swale? Why can't that be, something that, hugs the, tree line a little bit more, more something more aesthetically pleasing, but from our perspective, promotes infiltration, promotes water quality, do something that, really enhances that. And, and then my other question would be is what's actually getting into that quote infiltration basin? Is it just the driveway? Is that what you're trying to treat? Um, you know, uh, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is be a little bit more creative in
Okay.
the site plan, and if anything else, will enhance the aesthetics of the site and promote a higher water quality of the effluent or the stormwater discharge that is going to the wetlands. So that's something that's an enhancement and so forth. Look at I don't know if the street drainage where that's going from Old Weston Road is any of that coming onto the site and getting into the wetlands. I mean, be creative in telling us a story that there's a reason why we should grant that waiver without redesigning the whole thing. I'm not saying, you're going to make the house smaller or anything else, but just think about what you can do to better protect
I know what you're talking about.
the
I know what you're
wetlands.
talking about.
Yep.
I know what you're talking
I know,
about.
Lee, if you got anything to add to that.
I mean, I don't know how logistically friendly it would be for single family houses, but you could look at alternate materials for the driveway too, that would provide infiltration.
Like a permeable pavement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a porous asphalt. You could do a porous paver system. You could do, there's a whole lot of things that you can do on that. I mean, the soils, I'm guessing are fairly good, but probably a little bit high groundwater. I see you have a raised septic system, so you probably have
They're-
pretty good soils, but
They're Presby systems.
okay. Yeah. But, and then, I mean, that to me is kind of my kind of approach is, this has to be unique in some way for us to grant a waiver.
Okay.
And so let me check in with the rest of the commissioners to see. I want to be fair to make sure if they have their own kind of opinions on this. I don't want you to do something if it's just me telling you to do something. So Travis, any kind of comments around that?
No, I think the LID stuff would be great. More bioswales, rain gardens, that sort of thing. Reduce the amount of riprap. I'm not familiar with the contiguous upland requirement. So I may follow up with Leah on that just so I have a better understanding of that requirement.
Yeah. Right. I mean, basically what the intent is to, make sure when you develop a site within a residential zoning is that there's ample upland for a typical house that's going in that zone. So that's why it's, kind of set up like that. But it does, and also being a little practical as far as how close they are and looking at things holistically, because they can put in multiple they could put this number of lots based on the overall area
Yeah.
and looking at it holistically from those 3 lots. Kind of what are our options and how are we best protecting the wetlands? So.
If I could just say, our intentions here, this is not like a money maker. This is like our dream lot, 8 Morgan Drive, like,
yep.
And like with my father-in-law being able to live right there, we just honestly, that drive, like if we have to, like, we really don't want the shared driveway cutting through the lot, because the house would end up crossing the wetlands and being basically where it is now on the plan. And it just wouldn't go with the flow of the road in the neighborhood, and it just would not blend in correctly. And I'm like, the foundations that we propose are nice houses. I don't know, like our goal is to sell one to my father-in-law and sell the other lot off because they're expensive lots. 8 Morgan Drive is going to cost a ton of money, and we're just trying to pay ourselves back for some of that work. We're not trying to do, I'm not trying to, it's not like, you know, I think you understand where we're coming from. We just, we really need to be cost effective for us to be able to afford to be here. So.
And a lot of the things I'm suggesting you may find can actually be less than what you're proposing.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah. So, but again, it's for us is that, you know, if this was a larger development with more lots, I mean, I would probably not be having this specific conversation, but based on this, you know, it has to be unique, and every site you look at is unique. And so I'm just kind of looking for those little things that, you know, help us to offset that requirement by something enhancing. And that's kind of,
I got it.
Gotcha. Jonathan, any kind of comments or questions or any, you know, issues with kind of what I'm suggesting?
No, I don't have any comments beyond, I agree with what you just said. I think that's a reasonable request. Nothing else.
Okay. Patrick?
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable course to advise. So I don't have anything else to add that hasn't already been discussed.
Okay. Scott, any questions on kind of my very kind of meant to be vague?
No, I really appreciate the feedback.
Okay. So as far as Lee, as far as kind of this, because the review letter has just come in, we're going to be continuing this anyways. Is there anything else that we should discuss? And I also want to make sure I open it up to the public too.
The only other thing I had for these lots was just if you can add a dewatering basin for the well, for excavation of the wells, just because they're so close to the wetlands.
Oh yeah, that's. You need it on the plan.
I'll leave that to the commission, either on the plan or
no.
It will at least be in our conditions.
Oh, sure.
And at this point, I would like to just open it up to the public. If anyone has any comments or questions on 118.5, lot A or B, please raise your hand. And if not, we'll be looking to continue this. So, Scott, would you like to request a continuance?
Yes, I'd like to request continuance to the April 4th hearing.
All right, thank you very much. Anything, Leah, that we need to do before then, or can we just?
Can you just state your preference if you want the dewatering basins for the wells shown on the plan, or do you just want to condition it later?
I would just say condition it, because wherever we show it on the plans is not going to end up in that location when they go to do construction.
Okay.
All right, having said that, and no one from the public is raising their hand or anything. All right, and then based on that, why don't we have a motion to continue the hearing till April 4th?
I'll make a motion to continue the hearing to April 4th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Patrick,
Yes.
Jonathan,
Yes.
and Travis,
Yes.
and I am a yes, so that motion carries. On to the next one. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. Okay, pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Grafton Stormwater Management Bylaw, Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Grafton Conservation Commission will hold public hearing to act upon a notice of intent, application for Grafton Stormwater Bylaw permit, application for Grafton Wetlands Bylaw permit for the construction of a driveway and stormwater basin at 8 Morgan Drive.
Thank you, Scott Jordan from Ecotech. Yes, so as we have seen, I think that yeah, that bottom right is very helpful because the plant, this sheet is zoomed in a bit. So we delineated the bordering vegetative wetland that's associated with an intermittent stream that flows to the east and ultimately goes under Morgan Drive up there in the northeastern corner of the lot. There's a wooded swamp that is through the central portion of the lot. The proposal is the driveway within the buffer zone and stormwater management basins in the buffer zone. The house is outside of the buffer zone. The septic, of course, is outside the buffer zone. No work within the 25 and no wetland impacts proposed on this particular lot.
All right. Go around the commission and see if there's any questions. Travis,
Nope, no questions.
Patrick,
No questions.
Jonathan,
No questions.
thank you. Jan, could you just zoom in a little bit to the actual site plan on the left and specifically the, I think it's the, okay, so thank you. So basically, and again, this is just things to think about. This one also, also needs to have the Graves peer review kind of comments addressed. So we'll be looking
Correct.
for another continuation. But thinking about the overall and the fact is, even though there's 3 lots here and there's a single ownership, in looking at where the tree line is, without kind of thinking again about protection of wetlands, and typically, where the little basin is, and trust me, you could do really nice things in that area for stormwater as opposed to a hole in the ground. That's just my opinion of someone who does a lot of stormwater. But also thinking of for the other lots at A and B is maybe to say that that there'd be some kind of additional areas like within the 100-foot buffer or something that you may want to just kind of dedicate to being open space or something as a protection to the wetlands for the benefit of that wetland system, which is on all 3 lots. So think about things like that, and taking them, even though they're submitted under 2 different applications. It is all contiguous as far as the land abutting each other, and it is a single wetland system. So whatever we can do to enhance those protections of that kind of lends to all 3 lots. So just think about that in that perspective. Anything else on this, Leah?
Just one comment again from the building inspector. He just said that you should check with planning for the special permit back for the larger subdivision here, just to make sure that that special permit allows for an additional home to be on Morgan Drive. Or off Morgan Drive.
So that's going back to when Morgan Drive was created and
Right.
what permits were issued at that point, outside of our jurisdiction, but just something as a note to check with so you don't run into any issues. Okay.
Okay.
Again, for this one, I'll open it up to the public to see if the public has any questions or comments. I'll do a final go around with the commissioners one more time. Is there anything else, Scott, that you want to say?
No.
Okay. Anything else, Travis?
Nope.
Jonathan?
Nope.
Patrick?
Nope.
I'm also a no. Can I have, I'll just say this to Scott. Would you like to request a extension to April 4th?
Yes.
Continuation to April 4th?
Please.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that? Having seen nothing on the public for questions or comments, do I have a motion on that one?
Sure, I'll make a motion to continue to April 4th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Roll call vote. Travis?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries. So see you back on the 4th.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, Leah. Public hearings done.
Yep.
Action items.
We're on the last 3. You want me to walk you through them?
That would be fabulous.
All right. We have requests for partial certificates of compliance for 125 Ferry Street, Unit 24 specifically. This is, so they're looking for a partial release for one townhouse within the larger development. That unit's done. I checked the conditions, nothing specifically pertains to that unit, so I recommend issuing partials.
All right. Do I have a motion for a partial for the COC?
I'll make a motion for partial COC. And I lost my spot in the notes.
For unit
For
24?
125 Ferry Street.
Yep, unit 20. I have a second.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second on the partial COCs. Roll call vote. Travis?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
I am also a yes. Motion carries. Next up, Leah.
I have a request for certificate of compliance for 34 Bernard Road. This one, we actually need to take a vote to issue them a new original order of conditions first, so that they can record that. Then my suggestion, if you guys are comfortable with it, would be to also vote to issue the COC pending receipt of recording info from the order. Everything's all set. This was for a porch. They met their conditions. The only thing was I was going to reach out to the homeowner and just make sure they took their erosion control out, because the photo they provided on their as-built plan still had it in there.
Okay. I think that's pretty reasonable. Quick around to make sure no one has any issue. So we would first do the vote on reissuing the order of conditions. And then we would make a vote for the COC with a condition that we would need to have receipt of the recording of the order of conditions that we're actually reissuing.
Correct.
Okay. Seems
So
reasonable. Go ahead.
So do we have the original order of conditions?
We do not.
Or were there any special conditions, or was it just the porch?
So we have the file itself. We have the order, but it's a copy. So a lot of times people took the original,
Okay.
we're supposed to bring it to the registry and get it recorded, and then for whatever reason that doesn't happen, and then it gets lost over the years. So we would just be reissuing the same document, just with a new signature page on it, so that they can bring it to the registry and the registry will take it.
And then
the COC will be issued and record
Okay.
that against the order to close the cloud that it creates. on the deed.
right?
Okay,
It's pure paperwork is what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
got it.
But yeah, you'll see this happens not a lot, but it happens sometimes when we go in and we issue order of conditions. And so, all right. Any other questions on this? Otherwise, does anyone have a motion to reissue the original order of conditions?
I'll make a motion to reissue the original order of conditions for 34 Bernard Road.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All right, roll call vote. Patrick,
yes.
Jonathan,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. That motion carries. So we have a follow-up motion to issue the to issue COC pending receipt of the recording info for the order of conditions we just voted on. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to issue the COC pending receipt of recording info for the original order of conditions or revised order of conditions.
It's reissued. Yep. Great. Thank
Reissued.
you. Second.
Second,
Roll call vote. Jonathan,
Yes.
Patrick,
yes.
Travis.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I am also a yes, and that motion carries. Next up, Leah.
We have a request for another certificate of compliance. This one's for 6 Magnolia Lane. This one we need to revisit on April 4th. Their request was incomplete. They didn't file for the bylaw request. We're not certain the plan they gave us is an as-built plan, and we're also waiting confirmation that they installed their no disturb signage.
Okay. So we don't have any action on that. Anything else left?
We do have one attendee left that I believe wanted to talk to you guys about the Stowe Road Culvert project. So I'll just give you my little recap of what I believe she would like to talk about. So Stowe Road, you guys know, is it was 1 lane with the stop signs to go across the bridge for quite a while. And then the town was replacing, or has replaced, the culvert very recently, has been ongoing. Since they swapped the culvert, this resident at 14 Misco Brook Path, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has had some flooding issues. She's spoken to Brian Cizerco, the town engineer. He suspects it's beaver related. So I'm not sure where that stands with him, if he's investigating it further from the town side. I know 14 Misco Brook Path also has a beaver deceiver installed, so I don't know if they have someone in the beaver field to scope out whether it's that or not. The other thing I was going to do is reach out to Art Allen from Ecotech, has been monitoring this project for us. And I was going to check with him. We're not at the point of an as-built plan or anything, but whether or not the adequate BLSF was compensated for.
Okay. Can you just bring up a quick GIS map so I can get the overview of where the culvert is? I know it came through us, but just real quick, and then the proximity to the house that's experiencing some issues.
This one's 14 Misco right here.
Okay. And the culvert is under Stowe Road right there.
Yep.
Okay. All right, just looking to forget kind of what's going on as far as where the water courses are. So that's fine. Okay. So are you going to promote the attendee just so that we can hear what she has to say?
Yes, she should already be promoted.
Okay. If you could just give your name and address and please let us know what's going on your site.
I didn't realize was involved here.
Okay.
When we got the place, we have the dam there, which is where the beaver deceiver is. And I've been in charge of the dam for years. And I've had the beavers there for years, and we have managed to keep them from building a dam by taking one board each time they put one in. So they never got to build anything. So I never took a dam down. So that's the whole thing. But I've been there 40 years. I have never seen the volume of water. Twice I've been totally flooded in December, and then just the past couple of weeks. Brian said, well, we've had a lot of rain. And I'm thinking, no, we've had a lot of rain in 40 years, and it hasn't affected it this way. And then I'm worried now about the dam because let's see, I don't know, I sent some pictures to the office, but I couldn't send the videos because unfortunately it's too much memory for my phone.
Yep.
But I'd love, come down and look because the water still isn't going down and there's no beaver dam there. So the volume is coming in from somewhere else. And I hear that people speculate where it may be coming from other developments. But I just can't live with it this way. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay.
Every time there's going to be rain, I don't know whether I'll get down my driveway. And again, the dam, I'm worried that it might have to be replaced. It's
So is that dam on your property or is that
it's
at
on
the
my
site or
property.
built?
It's on my
your
property. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were put in charge of it from the beginning. I used to have to pull the boards to make sure. And then once we put in the beaver deceiver, the water flows much better.
Okay.
But these past, I don't know what they've done on the other side of the bridge because there was a big dam over there and there was a ton of water. So I don't know what they've done up there. I haven't gone up to look. I may go up to look this week because it's the volume. The volume of water is just incredible.
Okay. And again, this is us hearing about it and trying to ask questions to get a little bit more information. And obviously, we'll follow up with the town engineer. We'll look at the plans and so forth. So basically, Leah, the culvert that crosses underneath Stowe Road was recently replaced, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then, yeah, you're going to reach out to Art Allen and Margaret for your information. Art Allen is our consultant that was kind of monitoring the progress of that bridge, of that culvert. And he's a wetland scientist, but he was dealing with it because of some of the requirements of the notice of the order of conditions for that culvert replacement. So we're going to get his feedback. So please reach out to the office and check in with Leah or Jan on what we hear back from Art Allen. And I don't know, Leah, if you could, make that information available to Margaret.
And I will say that if anyone on the commission wants to drive down and take a look, I don't mind.
Okay.
Just to observe. And if I happen to be there, I can show you the video things that I have because I've been keeping track because it just got totally out of control. I didn't dare drive down the driveway. I may have a Subaru, but I wasn't taking it in that rushing water.
Understood. Anything else, Leah, on this? I think we just need to kind of follow up with it.
Yeah, not unless if you guys have any other suggestions of angles to look into, let me know. But those were the ones I came up with.
To me, the biggest thing whenever a culvert is replaced is did the flow characteristics change? And that's that's just a general question,
Is
because
that still, is that still an Art Allen question, or is that more of a Jeff
It's
Walsh
it's
question?
probably a Jeff Walsh question, but Jeff would probably, Jeff would probably have the kind of the calculations, the hydraulic calculations on it, but Art would, just being out there, would have observed something. So I think both
Okay.
should get the information. Yeah.
Okay,
And then again, if it's not that particular culvert, then it's looking at other places and what's going on. And if anything else has changed in that, the watershed that's contributing to the side of Mill Pond. Okay.
that's all I have.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Margaret, for bringing the attention to us. We'll see what we can find out. Obviously, something has changed, and see what goes on from here. All right, that's all you got, Leah, for now. Unless anyone else has anything else they really want to talk about, I think it's down to one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, second.
Second,
Roll call vote. Travis,
yes.
Jonathan,
Yes.
and Patrick.
Yes.
I am also a yes, and that means the meeting is adjourned.